What's the craziest thing you did just because you were horny? When we were in first year of college, my ex and I used to have sex in the backseat of my car all the time. It doesn't have tinted windows. We would do it in broad daylight too, and quite a few times people walked by. Regardless of how secluded an area was. I also hooked up with a guy on a beach chair, at night, right on a public beach. Someone ended up stealing his bag and he had to chase him down. Stark naked. I stole my mother's car in the night to have sex with GF while only having a learner's permit. I was 15. I hit a deer on the way home. Caught a mile from my house. With the deer? Used a permanent marker as a dildo. When my husband and I were students, we couldn't find anywhere private enough to get busy. So we broke into my husband's uncle's old flat, that was unoccupied at the time, and had sex on the dusty wooden floor. No furniture. No blanket. No dignity. Dignity is optional when the deed needs done. Picked up a pen in high school and accidentally upskirt saw this girl with pink lace panties. Went to the bathroom nobody used except during after school events and jerked it. Ended up dating her 2 years later as a senior and told her about it. Guess she had a crush on me and remembered it cause she spread on purpose when she saw me drop it. I was still embarrassed though. Edit: today I learned I lived kids' anime dreams. And to answer some other no. Rubbed one out while my brother and my dad were in the same room sleeping. Edit: I had broken up with my girlfriend not too long before this. We never did it, but we did other things that held it in at least. Sleeping. Pretending to be asleep to avoid the awkwardness. Had sex without condom. Repeatedly. I'm father of 3 now. Your pull-out game is weak, sir. Went to the bathroom at church to rub one out. I knew a girl who had sex with her boyfriend in the church bathroom. On our 1,000 mile drive back from our honeymoon, I rubbed one out on the highway at 3 AM while my husband was driving. Not ashamed. My boyfriend was taking me home late at night and I had strict parents who didn't want him staying over. We stopped at a 7/11 on the way. Pulled into the entrance and couldn't wait to park or properly situate ourselves. FK'd in the backseat with the door wide open and a security camera behind us. I was also already 15 minutes past curfew. So you ended up getting back 16 minutes past curfew. Slayed the door girl at a show I was playing in my band's van. Which was parked right in front of the venue. It was still daylight. And everyone in line could see the van rockin'. Her boss, the promoter, wasn't thrilled. Who would be thrilled if their employee was murdered? FK'd a guy in the middle of day in the middle of a park in a moderately large city here in Finland. Middle of the day in Finland probably means it still was pitch dark and nobody saw. Self-bondage. That stuff is freaky. Especially when you get stuck. Jerked off in the pool. When I wasn't alone. That's how you get all the girls in the pool pregnant at once. I stuck my dick in a shampoo bottle in the shower and took me 5 minutes to get it put because it was during that weird phase where you're getting the boner and my dick got stuck. Bought a 1961 𝓗𝓸𝓻𝓷𝓂. There was this girl I really liked when I was 20 or so. But she wasn't really in my circle of friends in a way that she ever noticed me. Her dad was kind of quirky. Into old cars. And she drove one of his sometimes. A 𝓗𝓸𝓻𝓷𝓂. The only one of those I ever saw running. I saw one in the newspaper and bought it $200. From a wrecking yard that was closing and clearing its lot. It didn't run and was missing all sorts of things. But came loaded down with boxes of extra 𝓗𝓸 parts from other more derelict non-runners. In any case. I eventually used it to strike up a conversation with her and got her to come over to my place. Which was totally awkward and weird. As flop sweat nervous as a horny 20-year-old could be. In any case. The whole thing went nowhere. I moved from town for other reasons a while later and gave her dad the car. As it wasn't worth dragging along. And then you banged the dad. Ask my wife for sex. Got a blowjob in the back of a church van in high school. Usually when I tell the story I end there, leaving out the fact that there were like 10 other kids in the car and our youth pastor was driving. I never got called out on it, but he did make us sit apart on the next trip. IDKY people are claiming jerking it in the bathroom is the craziest thing they ever did. I was jerking it in the bathroom every day in 5th grade. Made a 5-course meal. Whole morel mushrooms sauteed with butter, gochujang, garlic, sesame oil, and scallion. Burbank conchiglie with shallot, capers, parmigiano reggiano, and prosciutto. Braised pork belly in an apple, maple, and bourbon reduction served on a bed of cauliflower grits. Seaweed salad with pumpkin seeds, cranberry, and pear. Strawberries, peaches, and blackberries in clotted cream with powdered caramel and a dash of fresh basil, inspired by the movie Chef. With praline pecans beside. Started by serving French 75s. Finished with Negrinus, Pinot Grigio and Chianti on the table. My GF and I at the time were in a semi-LDR. We hadn't seen each other in over a month. It was our first anniversary. It was my shark week. I was, in a word, manic. It was the worst case of I'm horny but can't I've ever experienced. I had to put all that energy somewhere, so I splurged. Made the menu. And when she complimented the first course I came back with, "Well, I have to get you to eat something." Before I realized what I said, we laughed. We ate. And luckily enough for me, when we saw each other the next week, she was still seduced from earlier. I jerked off while I was in class back in 8th grade. Somehow didn't get caught. Was on a road trip with my boyfriend at the time. Spent the first half topless, driving through construction zones. Also spent a majority of that time with his dick in my mouth. We passed a rest stop about 30 minutes from our destination and went into one of the washrooms. I rode him while he sat on the toilet. When we finished, we looked around only to realize that the place was infested with huge spiders. Worked in a resort cleaning rooms. Was cleaning this room with a German chick called Maria. Masses of 𝓗𝓸𝓻𝓷𝓂 ended with a speed F-king for 5 minutes on the floor while the guests enjoyed the pool just 10 steps away. Almost FCK someone that was almost assuredly going to pull me into a terrible relationship just because she was available at the time to make the nasty. You made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.